Hey, I get it, you're staring at that 86-inch TV ad and wondering if it's worth turning your living room into a mini theater or if you just end up with a massive piece of glass you can't really use. I've been chatting with a few friends who were on the fence, and the biggest worry they had was spending a chunk of cash on a screen that sounds amazing on paper but ends up being more hassle than joy once it's actually on the wall. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through what the LG 86-inch QNED85A really brings to the table, where it shines, and where it might leave you feeling a little shortchanged. First off, size matters. An 86-inch panel is a serious visual statement about the size of a small bedroom wall. If you're sitting at a typical 10-foot distance, you'll get that immersive feel you get from a theater, which is perfect for watching movies in Filmmaker mode or catching fast-moving sports where you want every detail from the field to the crowd. But if your couch is only 3 or 4 feet away, the picture can feel overwhelming and you'll notice the pixel grid more. That's why I always ask my friends to measure their viewing distance before they even click Add to Cart. The sweet spot for this size is roughly 8 to 12 feet, so if you're in a studio apartment, you might be better off with a 55 or 65-inch model. Now, the tech behind the picture. LG calls this QNED evo, which basically means they're combining quantum dot color with mini LED backlighting. The dynamic QNED color claims wider gamut and richer saturation, and in practice, the reds and greens pop more than you'd see on a standard LED. The mini LED array with precision dimming gives you deeper blacks because there are a lot more local dimming zones than you'd find on a typical edge-lit TV. In a dimly lit room, that means the shadows in a dark thriller stay truly dark, not just a washed-out grey. The trade-off, which a few early reviewers have hinted at in forums, is that when you have a bright object against a very dark background, you can sometimes see a faint halo, what the community calls blooming. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you watch a lot of sci-fi with high-contrast scenes. What really sets the 86-inch model apart is the Alpha 8 AI processor Gen 2. This chip does a lot of heavy lifting. It upscales lower-resolution content to near 4K, reduces noise, and optimizes brightness on a frame-by-frame basis. If you're streaming a 1080p show on Netflix, the picture looks noticeably sharper than on a plain 4K TV without AI upscaling. The processor also adjusts color temperature based on the room's lighting, which is a nice touch if you binge-watch after the sun goes down. For gamers, the AI processing can add a little input lag, especially if you enable motion smoothing or the super upscaling feature. If you're a competitive gamer who needs the lowest possible latency, you'll want to turn those enhancements off and stick to game mode, which the TV offers. HDR10 Pro is another buzzword that actually translates into a more vivid experience in bright scenes. When you watch a HDR movie on this TV, the highlights like a sunrise or a burst of fireworks reach higher brightness peaks without blowing out the details. The HDR performance is solid, but remember that you'll need a source that actually delivers HDR10 content to see the benefit. Most streaming services and Blu-ray discs do, but regular cable or older DVDs won't trigger the HDR processing. Filmmaker mode is a feature that's become a must-have for cinephiles. It disables most post-processing, keeps the original frame rate, and respects the director's intended color grading. In practice, it means you'll see movies the way they were shot, with no artificial smoothing or contrast tweaks. If you love watching classic films or new releases on a big screen, this mode makes the experience feel authentic. The downside is that the picture can look a bit flatter compared to the standard or vivid presets, which might not appeal to viewers who want that punchy TV look for everyday TV shows. Smart TV side, LG bundles Alexa built-in, so you can control the TV with voice commands, adjust volume, change inputs, or ask it to turn off the lights if you have compatible smart bulbs. It's a convenient little perk, especially if you already have an Alexa ecosystem at home. The WebOS platform is generally smooth, with a decent selection of apps, but it can feel a little slower when you jump between them compared to some newer platforms. If you're the type who watches a lot of YouTube or niche streaming services, you might notice a brief lag when launching an app. Let's talk about the practical side of installation. The TV comes with a fairly thin stand, but at 86 inches it's still a hefty piece of equipment, roughly 150 pounds. Mounting it on a wall is recommended for safety and